Alright, welcome back to Terrible at Fishing. Well, I had a fantastic week. 3 great days, tons of fish. I've probably caught, I don't know, 70, 80 fish this week. That's a lot of fish. A lot of fish. Am I ultralight? Awesome! So, we are going to talk about warm water fishing. Boo! Right there. Warm water fishing. Because finally, here in Oregon, we got warm water fishing. And what ends up happening for warm water, as waters go from cold, frozen here, to warm, there's an inversion that happens in the lake, where the cold water that was on top, and the warm water, so the cold was the ice, and then the warmer was warm on the bottom. It switches. And what ends up happening is that fish come alive. Oh, they come out of this lethargic mode that they were in, and where they were eating, they were conserving energy. They weren't moving much. They weren't eating much because of it. Now they're aggressive, especially after the bass spawn, because now you got all these little bass and littler bass and sardine-sized bass, and all these other fish are spawning. And you got all this food in the ecosystem right now. So, excuse me, so they're just going crazy. So now, especially in post-spawn, you start catching little bass like you've seen in my latest videos. You know, they're in post-spawn. They're going to start eating really shallow. Really shallow. Top water, you know, top water down to 3 feet. So now our strategy is going to change. It's just changing. Before we were moving really slow on the bottom of the lake. Now we're moving very fast at the top of the lake. And there are fantastic things that you can use. You could use topwater lures. There's lots of them. From buzz baits, which I don't necessarily like, but people love them. You could use pencil lures or walking lures, my favorite. Whopper ploppers. Awesome. They work really, really good. Frogs. All sorts, anything that sits on top. Wake baits. Anything that sits on top of the water and barely dives. And then there is square bill cranks. Basically, it's a crank. And it's just a bait with a square bill. Why not? That's why we call them square bill cranks. Typically, they'll go as deep as 6 feet. But they will not go much. A lot of them will go 1 to 3 feet. And they usually make noise, and they'll pull them right out of the grass. There are in shallow waters, you know, there's a lot of lakes around here. Well, Klamath Lake's the Oregon's largest, 25 miles long, 8 miles wide, average depth 8 feet. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? I mean, you can almost walk across that lake if you want. Look like Jesus. So it's just amazingly shallow. But a lot of the lakes around here are not very deep. I come from areas of California where they're 700 feet deep. Now, mind you, I don't, you know, there's Crater Lake, which is, you know, the cleanest, deepest lake in the United States. I ain't talking about that one, which has, from what I hear, very few fish, but I haven't even gone to visit it yet. We'll go to visit Crater Lake. I mean, it's just, I flew over it once. It's gorgeous. My goodness. So I drove by it once. Never really visited it though. But these lakes around here are very shallow, and they either have rocky bottoms or they have grassy. So typically it's one of the two. If they have grass, you could go ahead and pull through the grass with a swim bait, something weedless, or even a lipless crank, and burst it through the grass. You could do a lot of things with a shallow grassy bottom. Almost anything you want, from plastics to anything. Neds are great for rocky bottoms, or even to swim a little high in the water. There is so much you can do with warmer water. You're going to find that they're very aggressive. They will take just about anything. I mean, crappie, little jigs with a little bit of power bait on them. Trout, you know, spinners, you know, just a rooster tail, something flashy. Or just use bait for trout. Bass, again, top water, go down to 3 feet. Top water down to 3 feet. do that. I did that yesterday, and I just threw a square bill crate out there. First time out, bam, got a beautiful 2-pounder, fought on my medium action really wonderfully. I mean, it took me, I had to play with the drag a little bit because it's only 8-pound test on that rod, so I didn't want to break my line. And he fought me. I had to pull him over to my other side of my boat. Very exciting. I haven't made a video of it. I do have it, you know, at least the catch on you know, I had to use my iPad, you know, so because my camera ran out of power. So, but very fun. Crappie is just an easy thing right now. I mean, you just be pulling them up. So, very, very simple catch. But you just need to sort of understand the water temperatures. So once it gets above 60 degrees, and I told this in several videos, if you don't have a fish finder, just get a pool thermometer. Just all you gotta do, get a pool thermometer, toss it in the water, and see what the temperature of the water is. If it's 60 degrees or above, you've got yourself a prime active ecosystem where they're going to be hitting reaction baits and bait, and they'll be hitting it shallow. So you really want to go ahead and understand the water temperature. Just go to Walmart and grab a pool thermometer, or wherever. If you can't stand Walmart, go to a pool supply company. I don't know. Hardware stores have them. I mean, they usually sell chlorine in hardware stores, so just go to a hardware store and grab a pool thermometer there. And understand the, it's supposed to say water. There it is, warm water. Understand the temperature of the water. When it gets over 70, it's getting really warm on the water. And now, you know, spawn is done. It is totally post-spawn at 70 degrees. And now all the fish are getting active. Everything is getting active. So if you've got water that's over 70 degrees on up, go ahead and, you know, actually at about 80, you're going to have to start stepping it down, because and come a little bit deeper. So there's a sweet spot from 60 to 75 degrees or so. And then after 75 degrees, it gets too warm up on the top. And the fish will start to see cooler water down below. And now instead of, you know, I mean, some fish, I mean, bass love warm water, so they're going to stay on top quite a bit. In our area, we don't get real warm water like Florida does, and some areas back east. So we're fortunate to get 75 degrees. So we're typically through the entire summer, we're shooting for top water and shallow. But it's just an absolutely fun time. So change out your tackle boxes as your water changes in temperature. Get a pool thermometer if you don't have a fish finder. I mean, they're cheap. And toss it in the, hang it off your boat or off the bank or wherever you are, and or off the pier, whatever. Just put it on a string and find out what the temperature of the water is. And understand that your baits are going to match that. If you do that, you won't be terrible at fishing. You just won't. And you are going to have the best summer, spring, summer, and fall that you probably ever had, just because you understand where the fish are located based on a pool thermometer. So thank you very much. It's just a quick point about warm water. It's just been a fantastic week. I'll be back on the water on Monday with somebody and on his boat, and we're going to be we'll catch our limit and trout real quick, and then we're going to be hitting bass is what we're going to do. We're going to do some topwater fishing. So he's going to love it because I know exactly where to take him, and he's going to have a great time. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe. Where is it? There it is. I'll put the icon down there. Please subscribe to the channel. Share the channel with your friends. You know, I would love to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, and you know, it would just be fun to be able to entertain and to inform so many people. And it's an honor and a privilege to do that for you guys too. So I'm really, really enjoying it. So thank you very much. And you know where you'll find me? Out on the water.